Da-da-da-da. All right, so it is recording. All right, welcome to this Q&A for the Transitions Shorts program at the SF Indie Shorts Festival. I'm very excited to have many of the directors with me here today. And so I want to start by having each one introduce themselves and say what their film is, so we can kind of put faces to the films, if you all don't mind.
I'm gonna go because I don't know what order everyone's Zoom windows pop up here. So I'm Jeff Collins. I'm actually the screenwriter for Social Mediation.
I'm John Robert Hammerer. I'm the director of Severance.
I'm Benjamin Rouse, and I'm the director of Transfer, and I'm also here with Ann Ewan.
I'm the writer of Transfer.
Yeah, writer for Transfer.
I'm Dan Kirby. I wrote Severance, co-produced Severance, and acted in Severance.
I'm Steve Chivers, and I wrote and starred in Dated.
Fantastic.
And I am Matt Pitroff. I was the director for Social Mediation.
Awesome.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, welcome.
Congratulations.
I'd like to start out with asking how each of your films, how you came to want to film what you filmed, the subject of the film, and how that idea came into your mind, and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Same order.
Same order.
Same order.
You're gonna have to call on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could start that, Matt. I think the subject matter. I think at the time when this started as a script, it was Matt and I are both in advertising, and part of it was like we needed a creative outlet to do something that wasn't an ad and wasn't 30 seconds long or 15 or 6 in today's day and age. And kind of the genesis for the idea at the time was just being around so many people that were social media obsessed, especially in that business, and kind of going, God, who cares what you ate or who cares what you did, but realizing what a currency it was for those people, and seeing how so many people, the script was done kind of before the real rise of stories and Instagram, let's say. So, everything was there and it was permanent. And I always kind of thought, what do you do when that relationship's over? Because you've put that up there for some sense of clout and some sense of social currency, and now it's an asset that you're going to either have to take down or you're going to have to divide, or we taking it to the extreme level of that point was where the idea for the film came from.
It's very clever, and I wonder if people are going to see this film and think, oh, I better start doing that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, and I think in the auditions, we were asked multiple times, right, Matt, by several of the actors that came in, is this a real story? Is this something that happened to you or somebody that you know? So it seemed already like a realistic
Totally.
event in life.
Yeah, if you rewind a couple of years, you've never thought someone would have a custody battle over their cat or their dog or their bird. And now here we are, and I don't think we're too far off from this currency being something that's actually, mediated legally. So we shall see. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure some lawyers will be like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess I went second. Really, Kirby should speak first on this one, since the genesis of the script did come from him. So.
Sure. I guess that's my lead in. When I started writing Severance, I was in this. I would it was the summer or the end of the summer, and I'd acted in several things, and they just kept not. I kept getting these emails that were like, "Oh, we ran out of funding," or I would try to see what was going on with these films that I had shot, and then the people who were running them hadn't kind of taken them to the goal line. So I was like, I'm gonna write something, and I'm gonna be in charge of it, and it's gonna get done. God dang it! And at the same time, I was working at a warehouse where the people who ran it shut it down, and it was really abrupt. And the guy that I was working there with, one of the guys that I was working there with, I don't want to
No name.
indicate anybody, but one of the people that I was working there with, I was pretty close with. We had a pretty good friendship, and I don't know, there was a lot of resentment in the warehouse about it being shut down on short notice, and we were just kind of flung off. It would be like, I don't remember what it was, but we got the email on like a Monday, and it was like, "This is your last week, done." So there was a contingent of people at the warehouse who were advocating some sort of, well, they didn't look out for us, so we don't need to look out for them. And I saw these relationships between people there that were pretty good kind of get torn apart. And I wanted to look into that for myself and try to get to the bottom of what happened, and just explore it, I guess.
Yeah. And so he came to me with the thing because we've known each other since middle school. And, I've also, in my own life and my own work, just been fascinated by human relationships, what, brings people together and what makes people go their separate ways. And I really had a hunger to really just kind of create a world and actual human individuals, recognizable people, and this gave me that opportunity. So yeah.
Should I just go ahead?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Anne is here, and Anne's a writer, and I was just wondering, Anne, do you want to say anything? No, okay. Okay, so transfer to me. Anne brought the story to me, and we worked together a bit on it, and we brought in another writer friend, Richard Scarsburg, who, Richard and Anne come from a novel background, and so they brought the story to me, and it was a personal story for Anne's partner. So there was that element of it, but then when it came to me, of course, as a director, it takes on a life, a bit of what's going on in your life as well. So, so transfer to me is about the movement of, emotion or energy between two people through physical and emotional interaction. So that movement of, your whatever your energy is moves to somebody else through physical or emotional interaction. So and then there's an element, it discusses suicide, which is a pretty major issue, but also something that happens and people just kind of, it just kind of gets pushed off to the side, or, people don't really want to talk about it. And so that element is in the film, which is a major part of the film. But so the idea being that there's these two people, and there's a movement of sadness through this discussion of a problem of one of the people that I wanted people to be able to project their problems onto that conversation. We all have problems that we can't solve. So I thought it would be good to show this conversation, but not actually what's being said, so that people could put whatever their issues in their life on that conversation. And so they have this very intense conversation, and there's a transfer of this energy. And so I wanted to look at this from kind of a non-judgmental standpoint because I've lost a few friends to suicide, and it's, you know, and you want to be mad at them, you're sad, you have all these mix of emotions, right? But you know, you don't know what happened to them, and I'm not necessarily trying to come up with answers, but I do think in the film we touch on what I think is an answer, whether, you know, when you're feeling emotions and you're overcome with something that you really can't deal with. There's a character where the mother's talking to her son. She's trying to console her daughter who has been having trouble at the end, and her son is off in another place helping people, right? And I think that's the thing you can do when you're not feeling great or your life is in shambles. That's the one thing. And I didn't come up with this, Anna came up with this, but for me, that's what it meant to me, is this idea that when, I think there's a famous saying that when the weight of the world is on your brow, only by the sweat of your brow can you remove it. And it's that kind of idea that going out and giving and doing is the only way you can move past something that you can't move past, really. You know, it's by getting out there and helping other people. But again, we're not trying to propose answers in this film. It was really about trying to get people talking and, you know, talking about the issue, because as I said, I lost a few friends to suicide, and, you know, nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to bring it up. It's like they just died, you know, and nobody wants to, you know, try to figure that out. And it's not about, again, not trying to solve the problem, just trying to present it and get people talking about it, and you know, trying to figure out how we can prevent these tragedies, you know. And I do personally believe that emotions move from person to person, and, you know, through physical and emotional interaction. So that's the film, but yeah, that's what it means to me. And, you know, you know, I hope it came across in that way. But yeah. And do you have anything to add or any thoughts on it?
I think you said it very well.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah. So that's what transfers to and hopefully it came across that way.
It did. And if you think about it, we do, you know, you have friends where, you know, if you're going to see this friend, you're going to get cheered up. And if you see this friend, you might not, or, you know, when they need you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you always need, you know, comedy, which I think that's where we're going.
Well, now we Steve, it's your turn.
Okay, so Dated actually started at the Writers Guild. They, all the diversity committees every year do an evening of scenes, and the LGBTQ committee pioneered this like 15 years ago. They started this thing called the Gay Scene, and it's just an evening of scenes from pilots and series or whatever. And I wanted to submit something, and I couldn't find anything I liked in my existing work, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna write a monologue. I don't know how I came up with it. This idea of like an older gay man trying to do online dating and having it be a total disaster, and in the process kind of coming to grips with his whole history as a survivor of the AIDS pandemic. And anyway, I did it, I performed it, and a lot of people were like, you should shoot this, it'd be so easy. And it took me like a year to get around to it. I don't know why. But
it's not that easy.
My director, Zenon Samuels, was actually a film student I had done some short films with. And he is Australian, and his visa was running out, and we were doing this at the end of the year. And, you know, he was like, maybe I should stay. And I was like, no, not now, not with this administration. Do not try and overstay. Let's shoot it and go. And so we did, and we finally got it all edited. And I actually I'm working on turning it into a web series, shooting in my living room with my green screen from Amazon. So that's where it's going now.
Great.
Fantastic. And that brings me to another question where I wanted to ask, why shorts? Why shorts? Why do you do short films? I love short films. And I know some people make short films in expectation to make a feature, but a lot of folks make short films, and so I just would love to hear why you chose the short film format.
I can jump in on this
Yeah.
one because, and probably the same answer that Jeff is going to have. You know, for half a lifetime, I've been shooting 30-second stories and wanting them to be 45 seconds. And yes, as Jeff mentioned, the times keep getting truncated. You know, the attention spans are dwindling, and now we're down to 6 seconds, and there's got to be a logo in the first 2. So shooting a 14-page script felt like a lifetime to me. You know, like the ability to I don't know how well you guys will remember the film, but the opening scene is just the couple that's about to go into mediation sitting in the foyer of the law firm. And I just wanted to hang and hang and hang and hang on that shot because I never get the freaking chance to do it. And there's so much emotion in it, you know. I mean, the composition, the separation between the two, there's so much storytelling that can go into a single shot, you know, when you have the opportunity to let it play out. So to me, making a short was like making a film, you know, making a feature. And obviously at some point in time in my, you know, career, I'd like to expand that into the feature world, but it was nice to have a beginning, middle, and an end that was still relatively finite, self-funded project. You know, it's like, let's not bite off more than we can chew. And, you know, I think all of these films in their own right they're great stories, great films, but you can also see a conscious choice to kind of keep the story simple, one location, a couple of actors. And those are the confines that we often work in when we're financing our own projects. But now I'm rambling. Next.
Yeah. I guess it'll be my turn to ramble. But yeah, it's really interesting what you mentioned about the 14-page script feeling like this big undertaking, because that's what we had with our 16-page script. You know, just so many different complications within complications within complications, trying to realize that, especially since we had to realize this warehouse almost entirely from scratch. So that right then and there added some interesting difficulties. But with shorts, the thing that I love about shorts is that there's a simplicity to them, but also there's this freedom of form. Like, shorts don't have to be one thing. They can be riddles, they can be poems, they can be jokes, they can be portraits, they can be snapshots, they can be random things you found on the sidewalk that you're not sure what they are. And there's just the malleability of it is so rewarding. And even though like most filmmakers in the short thing, I ultimately want to push to the feature side of things, I do want to keep experimenting with the shorts, especially when you have the kind of story that we had. It's like it's just a week, it's just those two guys, it's really just these particular moments. There's not really a need to drag it out. So Kirby, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think I would have said it's what served the subject. Like, the subject was right for a short, the subject wasn't right for a feature film. We also don't have, frankly speaking, access to really make it a feature film of quality. And also, so yeah, I guess there are three things that I like about shorts and why I'm working in shorts. They're sort of what I feel like I can do well right now. I think I'm learning on all of them, but also it's the stuff that I'm want to make right now, that I'm ready to make right now, is best served by the short format, I think. And also, I think shorts, you can do anything you want in a short, like JR was saying.
More free.
You can get away with more because you don't have to hold their attention. You don't have to have the audience sort of expecting the next big beat to drop. You know, this question is going to be answered in 20 minutes. What's this thing? You don't have to keep them there. You can discuss sort of subtextual morality using baseball for 15 minutes, and you can still keep their attention for that long.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And also you don't have as many producers trying to tell you what to do.
Yes, that's also true.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'll jump in. You know, I love making content. I don't care. I like making short content, long content, but I haven't. I'm striving to do feature film and scripted feature film and scripted series. I made a couple short films when I first started, and I started working in factual for like a while, and then I was like, I never got into this. So I started developing longer format stuff, and then I went back to doing shorts because I wanted to keep that scripted talent sharp and you know, trying to make a calling card. So we've made a few shorts, and they're really happy with them. But we are trying to make that jump, you know, into features, scripted features and scripted series. And we have a bunch of projects, you know, ready to go. We're just trying. It's very hard to get the all those things in place. There's a lot of moving parts, and you know, packaging is its own thing. So yeah, we're working on that, but you really do have to keep sharp, and you know, there are stories that are told best in the short format, and you know, there's something really great about, you know, doing something where you shoot it in a day or two, and you know, you move it into post, and you finish it off. Although it's surprising that it's a lot of the same prep work to a feature. It's just a shorter shoot. You know, you still got to cast, you still got to, find your location, you still got to reverse, you still got to get all your team together. So it's, I mean, once you do all that, it would be nice to do a feature, because it's just more shoot days. But well, obviously it's not that simple, right? I mean, it's obviously more difficult than that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to making a first scripted feature and you know, or series. And you know, we're working. Ann and I are working on a project, and we have a bunch of stuff in the works. So we're excited about taking that next step. But if another short is in the cards, happy to do that too. You know, it's a great format to tell a story. Like everybody has said, short, concise. And you know, you can tell you can try to just, you know, create something interesting and artsy and of high quality in a shorter format. So that's yeah. So it's a stepping stone though, for the most part.
Me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the biggest thing about a short film is you can actually make it, and you're not dependent on other people. But I think they're deceptively difficult, because a short film has to be very focused, and it has to be about a simple idea with a twist. And you know, it's like people say, it's harder to write a short story than a novel. It's harder to write a poem than a short story. And the hardest thing of all is a haiku, because every word matters. And I feel with a short film, you know, if you have a 10-second shot, that's a significant part of your film. And if it doesn't work, you can lose your audience just from that. So I think it's a really fun form. It's challenging, and there's a lot of really creative work being done. You know, just really interesting stuff, because the tools have become so much cheaper and so much easier, and people are exploring and doing new things. So I think it's a really exciting format.
Absolutely. Well, our festival would agree. And FYI, to the potential live audience, there's plenty more shorts and shorts programs to watch. So definitely check out the rest of the festival, and check out more short films. But I'd like to end by just asking you guys, what's next? What's up next? What do you know, got in the hopper, or plans to do with the short that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta write a cheese commercial in the morning, but other than that, it's no, I think, yeah, I'm sure like everyone, yeah, you know, Matt and I have got we've got a feature script. We're probably halfway through now that we're chugging away on, and we were just talking today about the possibility of doing another short. And you know, I think what's next is, yeah, to find that next project that we feel good about, and Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but that would be next for us. And I think also just to keep taking social mediation to some more festivals and exposing it to more audiences and meeting more filmmakers and having more chats about the art form. It's great.
There has been a little talk about taking the Patrick and Stacy, the mediators characters, and sort of unfolding that into a series of other shorts, or potentially into, you know, some kind of series, obviously expanding it, taking it out of that single room. But Jeff and I have been brainstorming, and there seems to be a myriad of topics, you know, that are appropriate. You know, an 18-year-old girl that sues her parents for all the embarrassing pictures that they posted of her when she was a child. You know, the list goes on.
Definitely. Yes, and you have some great characters there. So
yeah, our cast was
Amazing.
amazing. We're really fortunate in that regard.
For me, as I think I mentioned, my next step is turning it into a web series. And since the setup of my short is basically just me talking to someone who's filming me on a phone, I realize I can just keep it really simple. And so I'm editing my my next episode now, and frantically trying to learn After Effects and Premiere stuff. And it's just funny, after 30 years in the business, I have come back to like the beginning of guerrilla filmmaking, except instead of a Super 8 camera, I, you know, have something a little better, but it's kind of the same thing. So it's an adventure.
totally.
Yeah, we're figuring out our next steps. I'm writing another short. Kirby's writing another short. There's a couple feature ideas that we've like bandied around, and there's actually a music video that I created, which is coming out tomorrow. But by the time other people see this, it will be like always in the past. But I'm excited by what the future holds.
You can tell us about the music video if you want.
Okay, it's all right, fine. It's this collage of historical and present day footage that creates this meditation on / celebration of the act of protest in the face of inequality, past, present, and hopefully future.
What's the name of the song? An artist.
Give Me That Gold. And the artist name is Hannah Ruth. Ruth is spelled with 2 O's instead of a U. I don't know why.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
You can be really creative with the music videos too. And those are short films too.
Yeah, they are.
They can be like, they can just kind of flow and be creative, and you know, there's way less rules, and you don't have to deal with sound men and dialogue for the most part, which is pretty great about music videos. You know, you never want to. For us, we have 3 feature films with scripts, and you know, we have 1 cast and people attached. So we're really hoping to get those launched, but we're trying to find financing. So that's the big challenge at this point. So if there's anybody out there, you know, that has the link for financing, yeah, we're excited to try to get one of these features off the ground. But yeah, we have the scripts, we're ready to go, and then I've been actively pitching some series as well. So hopefully one of these things can take off, and you know, or maybe another short lands on the table, and we take that off. And I am actively doing commercial content as well to, like, you know, keep the doors open. So it's yeah. So all that's, and I like all of the above. So it's a lot of fun. Even the process, I should try to enjoy the process of trying to get a feature off the ground too. So.
Benjamin, what, and I guess the other guys that are shooting things right now, what sort of, I don't know, I'm thinking of a short that I've got that a friend of mine wrote that we're gonna co-produce together, but we're finding a lot of challenges right now with the current, you know, COVID and everything. And so I guess, are you ready to go, or are you waiting? And if so, can you tell me how you're ready to go so that I too can be ready to go right now?
Well, there is a COVID best practices certification that you can take, and they have actually started shooting films and stuff like that. I wrote 2 series pitches that are like made for the pandemic because I was thinking that, you know, they're like, you know, one character or a small cast, minimal interaction, you know, there's special kind of thing. One, somebody out in a forest, like running away from society kind of deal. And then getting into all this kind of trouble out there. But you know, they're looking for certain kinds of projects from what I've heard anyways, like, you know, that you can do with a small crew. You kind of isolate your team in a location. So your actors and everybody does the 2 weeks before, you know, you get tested, insurance wants everybody to get tested. And then you go to the location and you stay together and you know, you're like your own bubble for that period of time. Nothing can penetrate it. And you make your project happen. But the big challenge has been insurance, because nobody wants to insure projects because they could get shut down because one person gets sick and all of a sudden, boom. So you really do need to create something. That has to be the idea. Luckily, 2 of the movies we have are like that. You know, we set in mostly set in one location, and you know, in a group of people. One's a group of people at a cottage, and another one's on a boat. You know, and it's and then we have another one that is really close, but it's a little more complicated, but could be done as well. But yeah, so there's certification that you can take, and then, you know, it's about finding that right story that fits into this time frame. But people are shooting stuff out there. It's happening.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of like a return to sort of chamber piece, isolation, small first film filmmaking across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of like 12 Angry Men, right? That's just one room, 12 people, or like, you know, Reservoir Dogs, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I've done
All of your
of reality and documentary stuff, and you know, we talked about isolating the crew. All those shows like Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Truckers and all that, they've been doing it for years. They're on the boat, and everybody's, you know, everybody's there. There's no outside contact, so the model is actually there. We just have to figure out how to do it with narrative.
Yeah.
I heard some. Sorry.
Yeah, we have technical difficulties with
Yeah, I think we lost Jeff.
Yeah, and everybody shuffled around.
Yeah. They all moved to the left.
But I think we lost. The moderator.
Yeah, it's still recording. Oh, she's there. She's back. Nope, it stopped recording. Or no?
I still have a recording.
Still got to
There's
record.
a little cloud. There's a little blinking cloud. So
It's gonna be.
can you stand up? Can you
I hope they are editing now.
Yeah. We're editing this
We could get ourselves in all kinds of trouble right now.
here's a question. How long did you all take
rerun.
to shoot and do your films?
One day.
Yeah, ours was a day as well.
Yeah,
3
They're-
days.
a day of shooting, and then you know, some obviously
3 days.
posts from there. But
3 days of shooting plus an additional day before and after to set up this warehouse and break it back down.
Yeah, we had table reads, and our cast fortunately was amazingly off book, or we'd still be there, because it's just one word after the next. We shot 2 cameras, so that definitely helped us get through the day. But editing was a big undertaking. There was a lot of footage and a lot of fun ad-libby, off-the-cuff stuff to sort through, and our editor did an amazing job piecing it all together.
Yeah. Post-production, like 3-day shoot, post-production.
Post-production.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, our first day of shooting had, might be the crazy set story of crazy set stories, at least from my own personal experiences, because we shot the movie on film because we're crazy like that. And the morning of the shoot, we discover that somehow the camera's missing the take-up reel. So we can't use it. Our line producer, who is the greatest guy, you know, kept us all on track. He goes back to the rental house to get it. He makes the mistake of not bringing someone from camera crew, reasoning they can stay there and set up the shot. You know, when we have the part, we can just plug it in, get going. But he realizes his mistake when he comes back to the set and realizes they gave him the wrong part. We don't return to the rental house. We go to a friend of the DPs who we know for sure has this part. However, like the rental house, they're over in Manhattan, whereas we're on location in Brooklyn, and the subway only is so fast. By the time we finally got this part, we'd lost half of the day and didn't have a single frame of footage to show for it. Amazingly, we made the day, but not without, you know, copious amounts of blood, sweat, and tears. Some of them from me. So,
Well, that's because, like you guys were talking about no one being off book, because we spent that time, because we had the morning, we spent the time rehearsing it, running every part of it, making sure everybody knew exactly what was going to happen. And it was, I mean, you ran it really well, JR. And shout out to Kevin Burns. If you guys are ever looking for a producer, this guy's name is Kevin Burns. He's great. He just he sees things on set, and he realizes what's going to be a problem before it's a problem. Like, so again, we shot on 16, and the first day, so you have to order it. Unless you want to pay really high prices, you got to order it from Kodak. Or we used a nonprofit in Brooklyn. But yeah, so we were shooting, and Kevin realizes just in the afternoon of the first day, he goes, "Oh, we're going to need more film than we had budgeted." And then we had gotten, and it takes 2 days to get there, and we had a 3-day shoot. And he took me to the side. I wasn't in the shot, and he took me to the side and said, "Hey, we're going to need more film. I'm going to go get it. Just, you guys keep doing your thing. I'm going to take care of this problem." I can't say enough good things about him.
yeah, absolutely wonderful. We would not have made the movie without him. We certainly wouldn't have made it the way that it is. Like, he is absolute godsend.
The unsung heroes.
The unsung heroes. We're singing them now.
Takes a village to make a movie.
It sure
really
does.
Oh, yeah.
It sure does.
Well, I think our Zoom window's ending, so I want to thank you all for joining in this Q&A and for submitting your films, and I hope we get to see more of you. And I want to remind the audience that there's awards, so vote. You can vote for these films, so vote.
Give me your Venmo.
And it was a pleasure talking with you all.
Give us money.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's a
Thank
good
you.
way to bring this
Great.
into a virtual world.
Yeah.
To meet
The
you guys.
virtual world.
Thanks.
Next
Thanks,
time,
guys.
hopefully we'll be in
Great to
person.
meet you.
That'd be nice.
Good luck with
Thank
your
you.
films,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Same.
Good luck, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah. Good luck with the fest.
Bye-bye.